Choreb Beruach, Sword of the Spirit. Interpreted and narrated by Wendy. Bereshit, Genesis, chapter 14. And it came to pass in the days of Amraphel, king of Shinar, Aryuk, king of Elasar, Kedar-laomer, king of Ailam, and Tidal, king of the Goyim, that these made war with Bera, king of Sedum, and with Bersha, king of Amorah, Shenab, king of Admah, and Shemaber, king of Zebuyim, and the king of Bala, which is Zoar. All of these were joined together in the valley of Shiddim, which is the Salt Sea. For 12 years they served Kedor-laomer. However, in the 13th year they rebelled. Then in the 14th year Kedor-laomer and the kings who were with him came, and struck the Rephaim in Ashtarut Karnim, and the Zuzim in Ham, and the Aimim in Shahwe Kiryakdim, and the Huri in their mount Shair, until Ail Paran, which is by the wilderness. Then they returned and came to Ain Mishpath, which is Kudesh, and struck all the country of the Amaleki, also the Amori, who dwelt in Chetzetzun Tamar. When they went out, the king of Sedum, and the king of Amorah, and the king of Admah, and the king of Zebuyim, and the king of Bala, the same as Zoar, then they joined battle with them in the valley of Shiddim, with Kedor-laomer, the king of Ailam, and with Tidal, king of the Goyim, and Amraphel, king of Shinor, and Aryuk, king of Elasar. 4 kings were against 5. Furthermore, the valley of Shiddim was full of slime pits. Also, the kings of Sedum and Amorah fled and fell there. Then those who remained fled to the mountain. Therefore they took all the goods of Sedum and Amorah, and all their victuals. Then they went their way. And they took Luth, the son of the brother of Abram, who dwelt in Sedum, and his goods. Then they departed. However, someone who had escaped came, and he told Abram, the Aiberi, descendant of Aiber, for he dwelt in the region of Mamre of the Amori, the brother of Ashkul, and the brother of Aner. And these were allied with Abram. And when Abram heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants, born in his own house, 318. And they pursued them until dawn. Also, he divided himself against them by night, he and his servants. Then he struck them and pursued them to Chuba, which is on the left hand of Damascus. And he brought back all the goods, also his brother Luth. And his goods were returned, including the women and people. And the king of Sedum went out to meet him after his return of the slaughter of Kedor-laomer, and the kings who were with him at the valley of Shahwe, which is the valley of the king. Furthermore, Melchizedek, king of Shalem, brought forth bread and wine. And he was the priest of Al-Alyun, Most High Deity. Then he endowed, saying, Abram is the endowed of Al-Alyun, possessor of the heavens and earth. Also, the Most High All, who has delivered your enemies into your hands, is endowed. Then he gave him tithes of everything. Moreover, the king of Sodom said to Abram, "Give me the people, and take the goods unto yourself." But Abram said to the king of Sodom, "I have lifted up my hand unto he who exists, Al-Alyun, the possessor of the heavens and earth, that I will not take a thread or even the strap of a sandal. If I take all that is yours, will you not say, I have made Abram rich? Save only that which the young men have eaten, and the portion of the men who went with me, Aner, Ashkul, and Mamre. Let them take their portion."